Okay, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear listeners, welcome to another uplifting episode of the Guided Serenity Podcast, where we explore journeys, triumphs, and lessons that shape us. I am your host, Khadija Suleiman, and I'm so excited you're here with me today. Today, we are diving into a topic that is both empowering and deeply personal: breaking stereotypes, single and living life on your terms with confidence and joy. This is for every woman who is redefining what it means to thrive in this stage of life while holding on to her faith and aspirations for the future. Now, the exciting part of it, I know you all always want to know who the guest is. So I am honored to have an incredible, awesome guest joining us today, someone who is a beacon of inspiration, Sister Mutiat Olagoke. Sister Mutiat Olagoke is not just living her life with intention and purpose, but also breaking stereotypes about singlehood in the most graceful way. And I can't wait for her to share her insights. And I'm sure that you're going to walk away feeling inspired and motivated. So before we dive in today, Sister Mutiat, let's kick things off with something fun. So if you could describe your current season of life using one word or phrase, what would it be and why?
Hmm. Thank you for having me.
You're
Hmm.
welcome.
This is harder than you think.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because
Hmm.
I think that last year I would have answered this like that. This
Hmm.
year, on the other hand, I think this is my year of. So last year was cutting Mutiat. That was the title. I was cutting myself. For the first time, I just zoned into myself.
Hmm.
And this year is just this year. How do I say this season of my life?
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's really, I to how do I say this season of my life is okay. So I've done the healing, and then the sharing the part of myself and what I learned healing with people, and then again having to wait and go through some things and having to come back again to healing. So I think that this is my season of, you know, exhaling. This is
Exhaling.
my
Wow.
season of exhaling. I think this is the season that everything that everything will I have a feeling this is a season everything is coming together. I've seen some of my dua just coming together nicely and looking like, okay, this is the season I'm going to leave all of you single people, definitely, inshallah.
I know, easily. I love that.
Uh, yes, this is exhaling. I'll call it exhaling.
Wow.
Exhaling. And I like the word because, it's gentle.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So it's different from what I thought it will be, how we'll be excited. I'll tell the story. I just want
Hmm.
to exhale.
Wow.
I've not been holding my breath. I've stopped holding my breath since
Hmm.
2018.
Wow.
But I
MashaAllah.
feel like this is the year that just
You're going
exhale.
to
Like
breathe out.
everything just comes together. Bismillah. Everything comes
Bismillah.
together.
Bismillah. Wow. That is, forward looking. I love that. Okay. So listeners, let's dive in today. So this episode is about, um, celebrating this unique phase of life and also learning how to navigate it with joy, confidence, and tawakkul, and preparing for what's to come. And like you heard our guest, she said this is one way she would describe the phase of life right now is the exhaling um, phase, which I find really deep and beautiful. So while staying deeply connected to your faith. So whether you are single, married, or supporting someone on their journey, this conversation is for you. And I promise you, you do not want to miss it. All right, let's get into it. So Sister Mutiat, let's start by hearing a bit about your story and how you've embraced singlehood as a phase filled with growth, purpose, and self-discovery. Because for me, I see this in you from afar and I admire it a lot. In fact, some of my clients, when I'm talking, I use you anonymously as an example. And, in most cases, I see that they find that story uplifting for them. So, if you do not mind sharing a bit about your story and how you've embraced this phase, you know.
Okay, my story is, I mean, it's a story of practically, I don't know, it may be unique in its own way, but it's a story of a lot of women in their late 30s, on the brink of 40 now. Uh, for me, I'm different from my own, I mean, I don't know, I'm different from a lot of Muslims of my age who are single. I think many of them are single from marriage.
Mm,
They're out of marriage, they're widowed. I've never been married. I've
mm,
never been married before. I mean, this thing, I think I said it to myself last week, and I'm like, how? How?
wow.
How is it that I've never been married,
Mm,
But it is what it is. It is a story of a lot of heartbreak. It is also a story of awakening. It is my story of tawakkul. People can look at me and try to fill in the gaps. Even the Nobody can fill in the gaps except the people who truly saw me go through the the kind of heartbreaks that you look at it and say, "Bóyá kò lọ ṣe rúkìá." Maybe you should
mm,
go and do
wow.
rúkìá.
Wow, that's
That's the
deep.
kind that I have suffered,
Mm,
and but then you just come into the acceptance. It's a story of submission too. It's a
mm,
story of the thing that Allah doesn't want to do or hasn't decreed. He probably will do it. He will definitely do it. The thing that Allah doesn't permit is
mm,
not going to
mm.
come to pass, no matter how hard you try to bring it. No matter what,
Yeah.
people be like, okay, I think someone told me once that you're looking for a special man, Abi. There's no special,
Wow.
all of them are the same. Pick one. I tried.
Wow.
It still did
Mm,
not work. I tried marrying a couple of guys that I didn't like, but you see, that was even shall marry. Like,
mm,
it still
wow.
did not work. It still
Mm,
did not work. I get a lot of, oh, you are the one that is shakering the men. I think the only, of all the men whose book, I've tried to marry in the last 20 years, by the way.
mm,
So some people think that, oh, it's because of our career. No, I have, I've been wearing hijab since 2005. So it's not because of
mm.
my career. I'm not
So,
single. I'm also a quiet girl. So I am not
I know.
single
The proud
because
Quora
of
girl that I
career.
know.
You get. So I'm a very proud of a girl. So it's not
Mm,
single because of, and nobody should enter my DM and start saying they have a solution. I'm just
mhm.
sharing this because she asked me
Yes.
for it. So
Mm,
it's not about career. It's not about anything. It's just life. It is just life. It is just the things that don't come together because by Allah's permission, He has
mm,
not allowed it. Whether it is evil eye, whether it's seal, whether it is whatever
mm,
it is by Allah's permission. And I mean, this is easy to say now because you've come into the awareness of it. You've come into the acceptance of it and the
mm,
submission to the will of Allah regarding it. But it was difficult. It was
mm,
hard. It used to be hard, especially you know, 10 years ago, I was almost 30, practically all my friends. I was even thinking about, was it yesterday or 2 days ago, that 2005, 15 was actually the last wedding of my close friends. And that was
mm,
the year that you're like, you're the
mm,
last person. How,
mm.
how am I the last person? I literally was supposed to be the first of them. How am I the last person? Everybody said I would be the first.
Mm,
And
wow.
you know but that's life, and it was there. I was on the brink of madness for that year and the year after. And I remember at the end of 2017, after back to back, I just didn't seem to work. And even people that on a normal day, if your head was correct, you would never say yes to them. The audacity to break your heart.
Wow.
Relationship that I'm inside the relationship and I'm
Mm,
telling myself that. ah, is this what Allah has decreed for me? I remember being
Mm.
in a relationship with
Wow.
somebody, and I was saying, wow. So
Mm.
all the chastity, all the patience,
Mm.
everything, this is
Mm.
what Allah wants to still give me. Like this is the
Wow.
reward of my patience. Literally.
Mm.
And I was sure like Allah knows so sometimes you shall do it. That's how madness go and catch the border. It broke
Wow.
my heart.
Wow.
Ah, so you know when someone breaks your heart and your eyes open, like, are you crazy?
Mhm.
And people were
Mm.
like, "You see, wanted to tell you, but we were like,
What?
you are yes now because ever in fact I that was the shocking thing. Like I come home every day and I say this, I'm like, we didn't want to be the one because if we tell you now and you don't find another person, it will be as if we're the one that pursue. Like
Oh,
people,
wow.
a couple of people were looking at me and thinking, that's the way me to have taken it. They were taking it, but nobody had
Nobody
the
wanted to say it.
yes. And unfortunately, a lot of women have found themselves like this. So for me, I am lucky. I find it
Mm.
lucky. And I also think that singlehood for me, after the self-awareness, is Allah buying me time. There are a
Mm.
number of things that I have been able to do since 2016, 2017, even 2018. I mean, the full hijab, for instance, came as a result of this. I
Mm.
mean, it came as
Inshallah.
a result of
Mm.
this journey. Um, there are a number of things that the woman that all of you now have come to know, this queen of awesomeness, this wisdom, this vibe, this
Mm.
tawakkul that people say, whatever story you tell your people, came
Yeah.
because of this trial.
Wow.
And so
Inshallah.
when some people say things like I read on someone's WhatsApp, I pity people, nuns and I'm like, who are you pitying?
Mm.
You people, you
See.
pity yourself. I don't know what you're teaching us. Maybe
Mm.
outside of physical intimacy, which you cannot do, and that's for somebody that is chaste, right?
Yes.
Outside of
Yes.
physical intimacy, our lives are actually fuller than you think.
Mm. Inshallah.
I mean, I can't sleep with myself. That's the only
Yeah.
thing, right? But I have
Yes.
a very full life. I have intimacy in the place that I have it. Now, this is not me trying to, because somebody's maybe watching thinking she's only doing
Mm.
the daylight. She cries at night. Yes, there are days I do cry. I mean, who doesn't cry for something that they
Yeah,
want?
sure. You're human.
I mean,
Yeah.
even the
It's normal.
Rasul Salam cried. So why
Yes.
are you
Yes.
saying that? I'm not trying to glorify it. And that's one of the reasons that I don't take this topic. In fact, if it's not you, oh mama, I wouldn't have.
Oh,
Because
thank
I don't
you.
want it to yes. I've been saying no to this topic in the last 2, 3 years
Wow.
because I don't want to glorify it. It is not something to be
Mhm.
glorified. It is hard. It is you waiting to excel,
Yes.
to excel, So, but
And
Alhamdulillah,
thank
it's
you so
been
much for accepting this. I really appreciate
Alhamdulillah.
it. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. So my story is a journey towards tawakkul. It's a
Mm.
journey of awareness, of self-efficacy. It is, what the Quran says about if a condition of a people will not change unless they change what is in themselves. It has been a journey of changing what is in myself. And
Mm.
at the end of the trial, what I found was a better relationship with Allah. I found a life purpose. I found so much. And I look
Alhamdulillah.
back every time I look back and I'm like, okay, if there were a couple of children, I wouldn't have been able to do this.
Yes.
At the end of this year, I did something fantastic with my business community, and everybody, gave me my accolades,
I
and they
saw
were
it too. Yes.
able
That was beautiful. It was beautiful. And I
Alhamdulillah.
just prayed in my heart for you. I'm like, wow, may Allah continue to grant us success. Wow, that was
I
beautiful.
mean, I mean, and I think what came to mind when everybody kept saying, I was coming to realize that if I had a husband in December,
Mm.
people will not say that it's because of him, not
Yeah.
me, him.
Mm.
And that's how another advantage of it.
Yeah.
And I looked at it and I thought, wow, maybe that's another reason Allah is doing this, give credibility to certain work to inspire other people to see that it is possible. Muslim
Yes.
women can do this, we can do this. Because you
Mm.
know how our people are, no matter what you do,
Yes.
you'll be the one doing all the work. Is your husband, they will be
Is your
thanking.
husband, they will be praising.
They should come and take my husband next year. Definitely, I don't mind. They should thank him. But this
But at least
one,
for now, enjoy the glory.
this one, it was my own. You see, this December, feel
Mhm.
free to thank him. In fact,
Yeah.
you will have to thank him for all the things he's done before he before he married me.
Mm.
But this one is mine. So I looked at
Wow.
it and I'm like, definitely someone told me something when one brother broke my heart, shattered it a day to an introduction. I'm
Wow.
trying not
A
to
day
tell
two.
the whole story, right? But just a day to the introduction. It's not even a day. It was Maghrib before the introduction. And told me
Wow.
that he doesn't want to do it again.
Wow.
They have already bought fish in my house. And then
Wow.
they asked him, that was the first time I did Rukia, by the way, because when they asked him, what did she do? Well, you said this girl was perfect. I mean, this whole relationship was 6 weeks of us trying to go to meet to meet my parents from Lagos. I met his mom, met his, oh yeah. And every week for 6 weeks, one accident or the other will shall happen. Somebody
Mm.
will faint in their house. The mother will go to
Wow.
hospital. What will happen for 6 weeks?
Hmm.
And the sixth week, nothing happened. He got the car that I was driving. We went together to go and collect papers. And
Hmm.
then talk. Let's pay my grief. Let me drop you off and then pick you up tomorrow morning and go. And I entered the car and I felt, something just told me something was off.
Hmm.
And he drove me about 500 meters away from the mosque and said that he doesn't want to do it again. And
Wow.
I'm like, why? And so the person who match made us reach out to him to say, and I told you that this girl has been through a lot. When you knew that you didn't want her, you should have. He said, no, that he actually wanted her. He wanted
Hmm.
her up until that moment that he just decided that he didn't do again. And the guy
Wow.
said, I think you should do Rukia. And the only thing the person kept saying was Shaitan, Shaitan. I'm like,
Hmm.
what do you mean,
Wow.
Shaitan, Shaitan, Shaitan? He opened his eyes like this and broke my heart and broke the hearts of the people in my house.
Wow.
It was, so at the end of the day, one lesson I just learned like Otono Obati Ifeshi. You
Then
can't push
you
it,
can't
you
put
can't
this.
make it, you can't force it. You
Hmm.
just have to surrender to it. So my
Yeah.
story is a story of surrendering. It is a story of a lot of heartbreak
Hmm.
and accepting. And in the surrendering and accepting, you will find Allah's mercy abounds. You
Hmm.
know, I
Sure.
think the moment that I knew that it wasn't because I was sinful or that I was doing something wrong or that Allah didn't love me was when I realized that everything I needed a husband for, Allah in His infinite mercy takes care of it.
Hmm.
Except for the text
Wonderful.
structure, before somebody says that I used to sleep with pillow. Like except for that, and I think that
I
I
like it
think
when
that
you clear the air. I like it.
yes, no. So Allah
Yeah.
takes care of it.
Hmm.
And what that does for me is also reinforce that He knows what He's doing. This is the God that put Yusuf in prison because He wanted to make him a minister, and
Yeah.
there and the road to becoming a minister is. So that's what I'm like. Okay, Allah knows what He's doing. He's done the same for Yusuf. He's done the same, even the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
So,
This is the Lord who took Khadija, Abu Muttalib the same year
yeah.
because Rasul Sallallahu has to get to Medina to build a place. There's so many
Yes.
parts. The part of the Islamic history that happened in Medina may not have happened if he had a supporter still in Mecca. He wouldn't
Yes.
need
I
that.
agree.
And
Yes.
then the Muslim nation would not become what it is for all of
What
us
it is
today. So
today. Yes.
in those stories, I found succor. I find solace that definitely. Oh, then somebody came to my office one day and she's the last one of a very old father, a late, may Allah forgive his sins. And she was
Mhm.
telling me how the father was ill that week, and all her siblings, they're all grown up, they've left home. She's the last child who lives, still stays at home. You know how sometimes, so she stays at home, and because she was at home, she was one who took care of this man in his last year till his death. And if dad had, I think, in his 60s, the mother too, it's not like from a younger wife, or the same mother that
Wow.
gave birth to all the old
Oh,
siblings.
what?
So
Wow.
they had her really late. And she said that when her dad gave birth to her siblings were like, you just gave birth to our firstborn. You did not, you know. And when she was getting married, the older brothers told the father that they never thought the father would be alive to see her get married.
Wow.
Imagine that it would be possible. So when she came and she was telling about how she took care of the father, I looked at her and said, when your father was giving back to you in the 60s, I'm sure that when your mother knew she was pregnant, she'll be like, ha, you onyu wolele. You know, it
Mm-hmm.
was literally those onyu that Yoruba people say onyu esin, like disgraced
Interesting. Wow.
pregnancy.
Yeah.
But Allah, in His infinite mercy, knew that this child would be the one to take care of this man in his old age,
Hmm.
that the older children would not be around. They would also be busy with their life, and he needed that. And so this child was not born for all of that talk. This child was born for to be a suburb of that. And so when she told
Yeah.
me the story, I remember just having tears in my eyes and thinking, my children were not supposed to be best friends with my friends' children who were born 2010, 20
Hmm.
that. My children were supposed to be born, when they are coming. When, we are supposed to be born this year, for instance. My children are supposed to be born this year because something fantastic that they need to do for me or for somebody
Hmm.
is probably they need to do it 20 years from now, and they need to be 20 years old at that
Hmm.
time.
Wow. MashaAllah.
So those are the things that keep me going. Like, we think we're wise, we think Allah knows best, Allah knows what He's doing, and that's
Yes.
the story. I think that's the sum of my story and what I've
Wow.
become from it.
Wow, mashallah. Do you know what I find interestingly unique about you and your story is the tawakkul for me, irrespective, irrespective of what you've experienced, what you've seen. This is a typical saying of a typical Nigerian that will say, eyes have seen, right?
I have
Like
seen
eyes have seen. But irrespective, like even me, I'm questioning myself and seeking istighfar as we were talking. Like, God, you didn't have to deal with this, and you had to complain about some things in your life. This is why I find me personally, I find you inspiring because it's a case of when you have a situation and you're whining about it, just like the story of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When we have trials today, we whine so much about it, we complain, we cry, we do all sorts. But then when you think about his own story, you're like, okay, so what am I going through that is as bad as what he went through? You know? So I find that interestingly unique about you. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. May Allah continue to grant you that tawakkul that even you will not be able to understand, except just to be grateful to Allah for. Alhamdulillah.
I
Now,
mean,
you said?
I said thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah. So now my next question would be, we all know about, single Muslim women often face this unique stereotypes, these stereotypes around what's okay. So my question is, what is that one assumption about singlehood that you've had to challenge? And how were you able to approach it with grace and confidence?
I think it's the no how loud me being a feminist was in 2024. Uh,
Hmm.
so people have been saying it bit by bit, insinuating it here and there. How could she be this pretty, this, and not be married? It means that she doesn't want to submit to a man.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
The men that I have submitted to, I want to collect my submission back. There's some people that don't
Oh
deserve
my
my
God.
submission, that I have
I know.
submitted to, that I've gentle for, that I've
Please take
reduced
me
my
along where
voice
you're going
for.
to collect it.
Mm. I've given it to Allah. I've submitted
Wow.
it to Allah.
Wow. I
I
missed
think
that
that
though. Wow. I missed that. I didn't even hear a thing. And I was always, following your status and getting up.
ah,
I never heard anything like that.
I
Wow.
want is so good so. I want no alone.
Wow.
The people just have a lot of assumption. I think that what people don't understand, they fear. What they don't
Yes.
understand, they fill in the
Hmm.
gaps for. And
Yeah.
so it was easy for filling the gaps for me, especially given the fact that I have clout, I'm an influencer
Mm.
of some kind, I have a community that is thriving.
Yeah.
And so how could you be all of that? And you are right here, right? And I think one of the
Wow.
reasons that have made even getting married harder for me as a woman in the job is that many of the men who should marry you don't want a woman that can speak her voice. They don't want they don't
Yes.
want a strong woman.
Mm.
They don't want all of that. Of
Yeah.
course, if I knew
That.
that that was it, I would have pretended that I was gentle until I married someone and then
Trust me, I know
I,
you. I know you can't pretend. You won't be able to do it.
I couldn't. I could. Carry I knew with me, I would have dragged one brother to our house and marry him at 19 and then focus on that.
And then start bringing out the awesomeness later.
Yes, I think that so people just assume that if you're single at a certain age, there's something wrong with you. And that's
Mm,
where
yeah.
for me I think that's where the narrative of feminism comes in. That's where oh she can't be submissive, you know. And then there's also the stereotype of women generally who are making money or women who can speak up, like, oh, she's too outspoken. There's some mumu feedback that people give about me that I'm like she's too outspoken. Yes, I am a confident person and I have audacity. And you will see that from the way that I charge at life and my ambition. I'm a very audacious person. I didn't really apply it in relationship because I just thought it was something that was supposed to happen. I am beginning to apply it in relationship because see, all the heartbreak, they have already broken it. So if I want someone, I pursue them. Like, oh, a woman is not supposed to pursue. Give me. I like this one. I don't want to let
I
him
know.
go. It will not go. Tackle to this. We'll tackle
I
it. So that's the energy that I put into it now. That's why people say
know.
that, oh, so people just assume that I'm feminist. I don't like men. I love men. I love boys.
Wow.
I'm a lover of like I mean that's what I say. I'm a boy. I like what's feminist about it. Like so I did have to learn to listen, to reduce my voice, to be subtle, to improve my poker face, even if I think what you're saying is foolish, but you are the man, you know. So I had to learn that. But
Wow.
so the assumption that we are unmanageable, we will not submit,
Hmm.
those are assumptions that are not true,
They're
unless
not
what you
true.
mean by submission is to break my wings and break it. And I think some men actually find joy in doing that. Like
Yeah.
it's rise them up that a woman can build wealth and a woman
Hmm.
has a mind of her own. So they want to marry her and break that mind.
Okay. Hmm.
May God not go, no, I have suffered too much to end up with those kind of men. But when I meet a man whom, you know, fantastic human being who knows his own worth and
Hmm.
respects mine,
And
I'm
not
a very
intimidated.
dedicated
Is not
person.
intimidated by your success, your
No,
growth.
now
Yeah.
me with success. Success. Me when me and you are in the room, you are the one that will be remembering the success because me I don't used to bring the success inside the conversation. In you, as I am like the here, I still beg for phone. I still say, "Eba mi wa, shadow me, eba phone me for me." We so
Oh my God.
I
I
still do the
know.
20 of AC last week. All this one that you were saying, can I buy it? Yes, of course. So at the end of the
Hmm.
day, I mean, for instance, I bought my phone by myself anyway. After I
Hmm.
begged and swallowed my pride, I'm like, if you don't buy this phone, I will buy it. I'll collect my chain later. So it's an assumption. It is annoying. I find it
Hmm.
annoying because that's not who I am. I think that I find
Hmm.
it also offensive for you to look at a
Hmm.
woman in full hijab and ascribe something that is not Islam to
Hmm.
her. It's an
Yeah.
attack to my akida. It's an attack to my spirituality. And I look at, I mean, if sisters went as far as saying that I don't like those Igwe girls because akida, their akida is wrong. They're not talking about Igwe girls. They're talking
Wow.
about Mutiat akida. People went
Hmm.
ahead to say that those of you that are in that community, that your leader, is she a Muslim? Is she a
What?
no? Is she a Muslim? Is she married yet? Like a married woman? Then that assumption of a married woman would
Hmm.
also corrupt the non-married women.
Women.
Like
Yeah.
me. Okay, you know me and how I help these
Yeah.
women get their
Mm-hmm.
marriage together. Like we've worked
Yes.
together on this thing a few times. Me, I'm the
Yes.
one that somebody is
That's why I don't
questioning.
even know what to say.
And then they're questioning my sense
Wow.
and my sincerity for them. That me, I will come up. They should go and ask the Igwe girls.
Hmm.
And they should not ask the girls, they should ask their husbands. The ones who are sincere with them will tell you that my wife has gotten much better as a human being. And as a wife,
Hmm.
since she's joined this community,
Yeah.
community that I'm always warning them.
Hmm.
Just last week, somebody came and said, "Oh, she wants to do something for her husband back." And then
Wow.
she came to me and she said, and I told her that do so that they can collect the small business they gave you. Do. Go and do. Oh. Protect, you know. And after I gave her the advice that no, you can't do that. You are Muslims first before anything. This
Yeah.
is not who you are. You are a fantastic human being and you're going to be that person. And besides, you have to use your sense. So if this brother, if you go and do it and this man decides that it's because Monjeko low space me, lo fin shemaya.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
have to apply diplomacy. And she said, Subhanallah, that when she was coming to me, she thought that I would side with her, money me.
Wow.
You did not hear about me in the street. I am
Oh, she should come and ask
trolling.
us at the Hill conference.
Exactly. Some people say Auntie Buti is always siding with the husband. Yes.
Yeah.
Not a foolish human being. What can we do without them? Ah, so yes, those are the things that people say about me. Yeah,
Wow.
no, right. And I
Wow.
think it goes a long way for other, other single women too. People just make assumption about
Yeah.
us, our character. And, sometimes I shake my head, the kind of respect that people give some married women, and they think I am not entitled to that respect because I'm not married. And I'm like,
Mm.
you mean this that I've just shown a mother-in-law Pepe at me? Allah,
Oh my
that's
God.
right.
You see why I always feel that people need to get to know people, get to know them one on one before you are able to say a single thing about them.
Mm,
If you have not had business done with them, you've not traveled with them, you've not even lived or stayed with them for a couple of hours or maybe a day or two, don't draw a conclusion about them. Don't
yeah.
in any situation. But it's just so unfortunate that when you are single and you are successful, it doesn't even have to be financially. Maybe you are a known figure, maybe you even for charity, maybe you do something NGO, people just assume that not because it's your fault that you're not married. Same thing applies to divorced women. Everybody thinks
Mm,
when you're divorced, you've been divorced once, twice, three, they believe it's your problem, it's your fault. Like, how can, it has to be her fault that she's still single or that she's divorced. So for me, I always say, first of all, don't generalize. Secondly, get to know this person, experience this person negatively or positively before you're able to come out and say, okay, you know what? This is all I know about this person. Don't generalize. Well, I'm happy that I missed that because probably I would have said something because I know you. We've worked together. So, and I know that that is absolutely not true about you. I know that sometimes you might not have some chills. I know you to be a very playful person, but not a feminist. Like that's not even an attribute that that can sink in, like, because I remember during one of the Heal conference we had, and I remember one of the topics I think during I can't remember, but I know you mentioned something that I remember always, and I laugh whenever I remember. When you say, oh, when a married woman comes to me to complain about things, I learned not to support and start raking because of what they've told me. Try as much as possible to speak to the husband. You will also hear a different story entirely. That day I
mm,
sat down like, this is very true, actually. It's easy because men are known to be the villain or made to be the villain. And it's easy
yeah.
for these women to just come and say, oh, he's cheating on me. Oh, he doesn't take care of me. He doesn't feed me. If you're not there to experience both of them, do this to one another or listen to them talk when they're together, don't even interfere. Don't. Because women, I think, unfortunately, some of us like to be on the pity party. We like to be
Mm.
pitied. We like to be supported, irrespective of who is being thrown under the bus. That's one thing I've seen with some women, not all women. So I'm bold to say the people who says you're a feminist are absolutely wrong.
I
Like
want alone.
100%. That I'm able to say. Oh my goodness. Do you still sing that waka that you usually sing?
Oh yes.
Or you don't anymore?
I do.
I missed that.
You can,
Oh wow, that's good.
you can. I
Wow,
want alone.
mashallah.
I don't know. I mean, I was throwing a lot of punches last year regarding the matter, but this year, like this,
Wow.
I'll use you people to create content. I
Oh
will use you
God.
people to create content.
You see, beautiful things coming out of this. This is good. This is good. Let them keep
Yeah,
saying
hey,
it
I'll use
and
it
you
to
keep
make money
using
now.
them for content. That's really good.
Maybe that's the money.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Okay, so I've said I've said this before, and it's one attribute that I know with you. Of course, you have your personal or let me say silent challenges and how you handle this, but living with confidence, how do you balance living confidently and joyfully as a single woman while holding on to your hopes and dreams for marriage?
I think that it boils down back to Islam
Mm,
and boils down back to my relationship with Allah. I think the joy itself and the confidence that you see is from Iman. It's from my Iman. It is. I told some people last week that, see, let me tell you how much faith I have that my prayer will get answered. Like, oh, I want twin babies. Like the
mm,
worst that can happen to that prayer, the way that I know that Allah has accepted the prayer, Allah
mashallah.
accept all the prayer, is that the worst that can happen is that I will meet them in Jannah. That's the
Wow.
worst case scenario,
Mm,
that I would get to meet them in Jannah, because the desire is so strong. And I've asked Allah all of his names and in all the ways that I know for sure that I will, it is a kind of desire that I've even dreamt about,
wow,
meeting them,
mashallah.
right? So my faith, my joy, and my struggles, the balance comes from Iman. It comes from
Mm,
Islam and
alhamdulillah.
understanding the fact that, say, there's goodness in everything.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
goodness in everything. And just as there is goodness in everything, every good thing has its own fitna.
Yeah,
Every good thing have its own fitna. So
yes.
I try not to lean into any side, just only the good or just only the fitna. You know how people come and tell you that even those married women say
Mm,
they are not happy. I don't
I
draw my
know.
joy from that.
No.
I draw my joy from those ones that are married.
I'm married and happy.
I'm happy. I have a friend circle. There's a small group that some of my friends and I have.
Mm,
And, when one of them, when they were pregnant, they shared their pregnant pictures. You live through them. They just
mm-hmm.
have this cutesy moment with their babies and they send a picture. And I'm like, oh,
I
and that
know.
gives hope, that, right?
Yeah.
And they're going on a vacation with their family and you can afford to do it. A couple of my friends went to Umrah last year, and the thing was, share the picture. Oh. Share the
Yeah.
picture. Let us also follow you there. Oh, you know? And and that's that. And I think that, like I
Yeah.
said, it's my own year of Excel, and I'm hoping that, this is, at least this is my own year of Umrah too. I hope, I pray. And
Mm,
I would
I mean,
and then you know what to expect. So when I'm dreaming about, oh, when I get to Umrah, I already have a picture. I've never been there before, but I've lived through my friends and their pictures. And
yeah.
I can already picture, because I'm a very daydreaming person. So what
Mm,
I balance from faith. I also get it from surrounding myself with positivity.
positive.
I
Yeah.
fire friends, though. I fire friends. I will just step. I won't send you a red card, but I will step forward. I'm at an age. I mean, once you reach the
Mm,
35, you are at an age where you should be eccentric in
yeah.
in protecting yourself.
Yeah. I
I
agree.
mean, in the last 2 years, I literally audited my life and organized a new inner circle for myself.
Yeah.
And within that inner circle, if I continue to complain about one person for a long time, that person will be audited out.
Out.
So, and
Inshallah.
one thing I was very particular about at the beginning of after my healing journey was to surround myself with people whose level of faith. I mean, the first thing I learned was that a lot of people wear the hijab, they wear the niqab, they can teach Quran, but they don't have tawakkul. They
Hmm.
don't have tawakkul, because why is somebody that has tawakkul gossiping about me and saying that Mutiwoni she have used all her youth to shake niqab? Why will she
Hmm.
marry my
Wow.
youth? You don't know about
Wow.
my youth. Many of you started to wear niqab after you have done a few bad things. I've never done any crazy shit in my life. It is by accident that I got here, and I'm like, I am the. They say there's no formula in life. Like I am that. that 0.00001% of what can go wrong when it's not supposed to.
Hmm.
So
Wow.
after my healing, I realized that a lot of people didn't have the wacko. So I was like, okay, what does it mean to me?
Hmm.
What are the narrative for me? And understanding that there's fitna in every goodness, and there is goodness in even in fitna.
Hmm.
That in trial, if trials are not supposed to be, they're bad, they're not bad things. They're things that Allah put in our way to achieve a goal, that the end result of which is good.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
goal of trial is to be upon the Baytu Salam of Allah, to achieve the Baytu Salam of Allah. So if something that is bad will get me Jannah,
Hmm.
then that thing is definitely good. And that's
Hmm.
where I take my joy from, of knowing that I'm being put through this because Allah wants me to achieve a higher station. Yes, the prayer is,
Yeah.
you don't have to try me to give me your Jannah, but He is the one who has wisdom.
Yes. He
He,
knows
he
best.
knew that
Hmm.
I am a judgmental mofo, that if I had married and I have the 3 children that I thought I would have at this age,
Oh,
I'm going
wow.
to be judging the rest of you.
Hmm. Wow.
He knows that
Hmm.
I used to be a little bit arrogant.
Hmm.
And he
Wow.
knew that, and this trial for me has been a trial of humility.
Hmm.
This trial
Hmm.
has humbled me. Allah has
Hmm.
humbled me.
Hmm.
So he knew that the only way to humble her, I mean, like, I'm the last person to be going through this. I'm the like, oh, I
Hmm.
did everything they said I should do. I'm a good girl. Like, I am the good girl that I am not the one that somebody will now break up with me to follow someone
Hmm.
that is astagfirullah.
Astaghfirullah.
It has been humbling, and I take my joy from
Hmm. Alhamdulillah.
knowing that there's goodness in it. Allah only does good.
Yes. Yes.
Only does good.
Yes.
And there are days when it is hard. And on those days,
Hmm.
when it is hard, because it will be, there are always days. I mean,
Yes.
even Rasul had his own days.
Sallallahu. Yes.
And there are days that nobody don't be fooled. There are days that it is hard. And that's
Hmm.
what being human is. If there are no hard days, then it is not a trial that is testing you won't lean into tawakkul. I will need Allah.
Yes. Yes.
And on those days, I
Hmm.
lean on the Quran and the story, on days there are days when I can go 3, 4 days. I'm exhausted, I'm tired.
Hmm.
I just quiet it and come back again to it bit by bit. I lean into the Quran. I do a lot of listening to the Rukia verses. There are some verses I'm leaning into lately about halal knowing your enemies.
Hmm.
Uh, you feel like, and that's on days when you feel like I'm quick prone to Ain. So
Oh.
quick, and I think maybe it's one of the things I've struggled with. I
Hmm.
think that even this try itself, maybe as a result of it, this is not a conversation that people have openly. It's not something that I talk
Yes.
about openly.
Yeah.
So, you know how I said that some of my friends, I look back and some of them say, oh, you are going to be the first to marry. And
Hmm.
maybe a couple of people had mentioned this with and the evil eye has been on it, and somehow
Maybe.
I'm the last of them,
Hmm.
and Allah knows best, right? So I
Yeah.
lean on verses of the Quran that reminds me that your Lord is with you. Our Lord
Hmm.
is with you. I mean, I have a couple of canvases that tells me that my Lord is with me. I do not
Hmm.
grieve. Your Lord is with me. So I use remembrance. I use the Quran. Uh, on days when I listen to Surah Al-Rahman over and over. It is very soothing.
Yeah.
I I mean, Surah Al-Mulk before bed has been fantastic for me. I used to
Alhamdulillah.
do it. I used to do it skeletally before, but being religious with it has been fantastic. And
Alhamdulillah.
you see, when you're also intentional, right, you will
Hmm.
find Allah will speak to you. So on,
Yes.
on some days when I go like you will live right to Allah, you just open Instagram and
Hmm.
something will answer the
Something
question.
pops up. Yes. Wow.
And then one particular day I saw it and I'm like, I'm not reading it. I'm not looking at it. Leave me alone. Do what I told you to do.
Wow.
And
Wow.
And then on some days you go like, he's the owner of it. He owns the
Mm-hmm.
life. He can do
Yeah.
with it whatever he likes.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what he has chosen to. He has chosen to make you an example for
Yeah.
those people. I don't know in what example I am in different houses. I'm
Mm.
just, those side characters in stories that they will say something about it and you'll be like, it can never be you. Well,
Yes. Mm.
it's me.
Wow.
That
Wow.
side character. I think of my friends' children talking about me in their school, saying things like, "Oh, my mom has a friend who's not married," and I'm like, "Oh, you? How is this me? How am I the character?"
There's a
Am
reason
I
behind
the-"
everything, you know.
Yeah,
And
and
Allah
I
knows
think
best. Yeah. Yeah.
okay, that's it. I just take solace in there is good in this, and there's
Yes.
good in this, and
Yes.
from time to time, you will see some of the good.
Yes.
Because what is faith if it's not to submit to the will of Allah?
I
What is
agree.
Islam if it's not to submit to the
Mm.
will of Allah? So this is my Islam. Some people
Yeah.
say, "Oh, you have not done half of your deen." This is the whole of my deen.
Yeah.
This is the
Yeah.
whole of my deen.
Mm-hmm.
The point of this is Allah has held back because He said if He liked, He will give them this, He will give them two, He will give them three. If He liked,
Mm.
He won't give them anything.
Yes. Yes.
And
I agree.
it is unfortunate that we are those people that
Mm.
he hasn't given yet, but
Mm-hmm.
it is just as is half of the deal for some other people. For us, it is the whole of it,
Yeah.
and we must continue to submit to His will.
Yes. We have to.
There's no one way, there's no one gate to paradise,
Yeah.
and He has chosen this gate for us.
Yeah.
And eventually,
Alhamdulillah.
the most fantastic thing is that on the day of judgment, I just imagine myself having all my prayers come true. And then on
Mm.
judgment, will still come and give me tea. I'm like, why? I say that time that you were holding on.
Oh my goodness.
And I'll be doing hobby for those of you that called me feminine.
Oh my goodness. May Allah accept it.
I
Amen.
mean,
Okay, so my next question would be on navigating societal pressure. And this is to our listeners. What advice would you give to Muslim women who are also navigating societal or family pressures around marriage, especially when the pressure feels overwhelming?
it is overwhelming. It
Yeah.
is overwhelming. So I would say find a circle of support who gets it,
Mm,
who can, if you have one or two people who gets it, lean on them. But you see,
mm,
the best person to lean on is yourself and
mm,
Allah. Because even those friends that you think, those people that I thought they got it, they didn't
mm,
seem to get it. Nobody can get your pain the way you get it.
mm.
They can empathize. Nobody can get it. Even me that I'm going through my own, I can't get your own
Yeah.
like you are doing it. I can definitely empathize better than someone who's never been through it.
Mm,
So take a deep breath and believe. Tawakkul is the only answer. But I know for sure that it's easier said than done. Tawakkul is like a
yeah.
muscle. It's a muscle that you have to practice and you have to gain
Mm,
and you have to build. And by the time a lot of us get into the family pressure, we have not built it. It is this
yes.
experience that help us build it. So
Mm,
it's difficult to say after Wahako because if you
yeah.
don't have it when you got into it,
Mm,
it's not going to be easy, but that's the way forward. You
mm,
have to keep your heads together. You have to understand that the family people are
mm,
pressuring you based on their own model of the world, what they believe to be true, what they expect to be it. So forgive them. Oh, mama. So for instance, your mom is pressuring you not because she doesn't love you, because she's afraid.
yes.
She's
Yeah.
afraid that people will call her names. Do you know the names that people have called my parents? Do you know how many people
Mm,
I've got my parents to say nonsense, nonsense?
wow.
Alhamdulillah that we are doing well for ourselves because
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
Mm. Although by your wa.
Mm,
you know, and so focus. And also another thing I need you to understand is that that's one thing that is not working in your life. There are other things that are working.
mm,
Be grateful for those things.
mm,
And the ones that Allah has made easy for you. Don't, somebody said, hey, I'm going through a lot. I don't even want to do business right now. What are you going through? You are not married. Your husband is frustrating you. But the business that is working for you, that you have some control, that one you want to throw that one away again. So two things will be lost.
Hmm.
And I know it's not easy, but that's the way that I look at it. Like, okay, business is easy for me. Teaching is easy for me. Doing this is easy for me. That is hard for me. I don't know why, but it seems hard for me. So the ones that Allah has made easy, I'm going to keep doing them. I'm going to take joy in them.
Yeah.
But money cannot make you happy. It's a lie. You have not gone to meet dinner at Marriott.
I know, right?
It's because you have not paid for Umrah with your money.
I
That's why
know.
your money cannot make you happy. Which money cannot make you happy? Oh,
Money
they say
can
it's
make you
husband that
happy.
will make you happy. Mm-hmm. Go ask the people that the husbands are driving them crazy.
You're
There's
driving them nuts.
it's good. Oh, his husband that makes people happy. Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
I'm not saying that husband don't make people happy. Oh.
I
I'm not saying
know.
that money make, but you know what I'm saying.
Of
Focus on
course,
the
of
things that
course.
you have.
Yes.
Because the thing you don't have it. But the ones that
Yeah.
you have it. Be
Yeah.
grateful. It was
Yeah.
being grateful that got me out of it. And model, you see, then I think that the most effective one I can tell you is that you have to do choco for people.
Hmm.
You have to do choco for all the people giving you pressure. So somebody said she left her house because her sister, her mother, stepmother was saying, you left your father's house because your stepmother was putting pressure on you. I went home to Ibadan one time like this. I think, and as I was entering, my dad, though, my own father that born me, said, what are you doing here again? You should be going to your husband's house. That thing paid me. Maybe that's the kind
Wow.
of pressure you're talking about. And I
Hmm.
went inside, dropped my load, changed my clothes, and I went back to the parlor. As I entered, I was like, why would this person tell me that? Even if I were married, can I not come to my father's house? As I went back to the parlor, I sat down on the two-seater and I looked at him. I sat
Hmm.
down. I went to go and take gari or food. I went to go and take food. You sit down majestically. I sat down majestically, folded my leg on the chair, and I said, "This is my father's house. Nobody can pursue me out of
Oh
my
my God.
father's house. I can come to my father's house anytime.
Oh my goodness.
Anybody that is not happy to see me in my father's house should go to their own father's house."
Wow.
I said that to my father. She been to your father's house. You go to his father's house in Nova. If he's not happy to see me,
Oh
never
my
bother
God.
him down Maleru. That's what
And
I
what did he
said.
say?
My
Oh my God. I would like to know his response or his reaction.
father just looked at me and said, I said, Ile baba mo kokin ba Maleru. Should not be afraid to come to my own father's house. He now said,
Oh my
he's
God.
just saying, I said that I looked at him and I told him that this is my safe place. The world
Hmm.
is frustrating me. I have
Hmm.
come from Lagos from people judging me and saying stuff about me. I should not come here and still be judged. This is
Yeah.
home. This should be
Yeah.
safe.
Yes, I agree.
He now said, so Tony, my father is a nice person. He's a mother. He probably say that because of bad friend. But he joined bad gang.
Oh my God. Wow.
My father
Okay.
is a sweetheart.
Wow.
I know that some people have fathers who probably have vexed. My own
Hmm.
father was like, tó tọ́ ni.
Hmm.
Ilé ọmọ bá mo ní ilé dàpọ̀ bí olókìlẹ̀ fẹ́ kejì. Ìgbà tí wàá lọ́kọ̀ ọkọ̀ ṣe lọ wá.
Oh, I
Then number
know.
three, that's
Abby.
what you should do. If
Hmm.
anybody says anything, I think that most of us spend time just cowering and don't let their word touch you. It will touch you,
Hmm.
but you have to be brave.
Hmm.
You have to stand up for yourself. You have to put everybody in their places. Do you know how many people I blocked? Somebody entered my DM and said that, you will not go and marry. I really pity your parents. Poor people,
What?
they have not become grandma. It was 3 Ramadans ago or so. I
Wow.
blocked his life.
Wow.
I don't even
The
have any comment for him.
effrontery. Oh my
The effrontery,
God.
the wicked, the tactlessness of Ikilebo.
That's
You
mean.
know?
Wow.
Then was it last year or 2 years ago, 2023? He now entered my IGDM again. That was WhatsApp. I
Wow.
blocked him on WhatsApp. They have talked somewhere now, so he's the one that has mouth. He's one of my
Mm.
classmates in secondary school. So he
Mm.
now entered my IGDM again and said, Muti, unblock me on WhatsApp. Is it because of what I
What?
said? Is it not the
Ah.
truth? I blocked him that blessing.
Oh my goodness. Any negative vibe, you block it even before it starts.
Yeah.
Before
So
anything comes up, just block them
I don't
off.
respond to negativity. You see, that day that my
Yeah.
father told me that day, I did not now go home. I didn't go home for a month or two. My dad
Wow.
now called me and said that, oh, Wale, money, she was supposed to give more Wale. And I said, I said, kitty. You people don't have choco. You don't
I
have choco.
know.
Why?
I
If
know.
for those people that don't know what choco is like you need to put boundaries in place. You have to put people in place.
Yeah.
It is not you, it is Allah. You have
Mm.
tried your best. You are giving
Mm.
everything. Even if you made a mistake, it is a human thing to make a mistake. And if
Yes. Yeah.
someone frustrates you, ask them, you are either supporting me or not. This
Mhm.
pressure is not helping me.
Yes.
What you should be doing is to pray. If it is your mother that is pressuring you, say, Mommy, àwọn ẹgbẹ́ yín gbàdúrà fọmọ yín ni. Other mothers are praying. Some people have climbed mountain for 1 week on top of
Mm.
their children matter. You stay in Palo, you're frustrating my life. Don't worry. You know, people like, oh no, ouch, don't talk to your mother like that. You find a nice way to say it, but it has to be said.
Yeah.
Why are you sleeping? Even my own mother would tell me that. I was like, why are you sleeping at night?
Mm.
People whose children don't even have the problem that we are trying to solve. They are not sleeping. You are sleeping. To wake up
Mm.
for Subri is hard. And then she'll now say, and I'm not sleeping.
Oh my God, stop gaslighting mommy, please.
Because what they are doing is toxic too. So you
Mm.
should that's the way forward though. After you have faith, you have
Mm.
rely on Allah,
Yeah.
you have patience, you will not add small
Ah,
gaslight.
yeah.
They will
I-
leave you alone. Eventually, everybody will just be like, Omamuti eccentric. And then if you now have money, hey,
Mm.
you go for family event. They say
Mm.
that they should bring all Afa, you pay money. The Afa will be praying all on Shokola Luparika or Kochi Kofi family. Like, you
Ah,
people don't
wow.
know everybody.
Oh my goodness.
Because
Oh my God.
you are poor. Because you are broke. That's why they are doing saying again here to you. You to put your life together. And okay, on a serious note, really, get yourself together. So
Mm.
there's no husband. Whatever is easy for you, your school, your ambition, your other part of your life, get
Mm.
it together. Be a source of inspiration to people. My mom will say, me, mommy of Queen of Awesomeness. I'm like, oh God. The way she says it, sometimes I'm like, who is she talking about? Is it me? Be a source of pride. Don't
Yeah.
look at your problems.
Mm.
If only one thing
Wow.
Allah has not given you, He has given you so much.
Mm.
Stop waiting. Stop living in a limbo. Stop being a ragged version of yourself. Be the
Yeah.
best version of yourself, and wallahi, you will find that the pressure will reduce.
Mm.
People will come to apologize and say, Auntie, I'm sorry I told you not to do this thing. Look at how everything. Just be the best version of yourself.
Mm.
Nobody is. People can say a lot of things about me because they see confidence, they see joy. That's why they
Yeah.
change it to feminist. They are not
Mhm.
saying I'm bad. So initially it was, maybe our behavior is bad. Maybe I could.
Mm.
So they see positivity. They hear of fantastic things people are saying about me, and they like all those lies. They just think, what can we say again? Oh, maybe
Again.
Akida
Mm.
is wrong. They know that my Akida is not wrong. Oh yes,
Mm.
but you take pictures and do video. Okay, Akinyesha. But every other thing. So it has come to different things. It has come to, because initially when I started the Queen of Awesomeness journey, it was because people were
Mm.
saying things about me that maybe I'm not married because my character is faulty. And so I'm
Mm.
like, me. Character
Mm.
is not faulty. Oh, yes, I have eccentric a little bit and I don't have a good poker face. If I want to judge you, you will see it on my face. But aside that, I am a good person. That's how the awesomeness journey started. And now that people can say they don't have anything to say again, is that she
Mm.
cannot submit to a man.
Mm. And
She's
that's
not
absolutely
submitting.
wrong. Yeah.
So, but
Mm,
you take care of yourself.
mm,
See, let me tell you the truth. For all the single girls out there, focus, go and make money. I'm saying the rubbish that money we cannot collect from you from is not
mm,
plenty.
mm.
Money will collect you from all this pressure. Share your
Olówó
mom
láyé mọ̀.
that is powering for you. If you just send that money that your married sister have not sent her,
Mm,
he will be the one to pray that Allah should give you the husband. It may take time, oh boy. He should give
mm,
you husband that will come and add to your wealth,
mm.
not push you to go and marry just anybody. And I know I don't want anybody to misquote me and go and say that Muti say that make money and not find husband. No, why you are waiting to have
Yeah.
sorrow? It doesn't
Mm,
mean to just wait. No,
mm-hmm.
while you're waiting, get busy. And I can
Yeah.
tell you for a fact that while you're waiting for a husband, if you can build your financial and your mental strength, and you are showing up for people, you are just a valuable member of your family and the society, the pressure will change to support. The
Yes.
pressure will change to prayer. When
Yes.
people
I agree.
see that you're making effort, you are humble, you have tried your best, and they also see that you're beneficial to them in
Mm,
other ways. They are telling you to go and marry your husband because you are continuously asking them for money. Sure, they want to do party in the family. I'm the one that dropped 7 figures of money. Of course, they will pray for you.
yeah.
Nobody is going to say, Auntie Mia, hello, hello, marry now.
Mm, I know. Wow.
And I'm saying this from experience. I went home for my grandmother's burial some months back. And even if people want to say it, they did not say it.
Mm,
Everybody just respected themselves.
yeah.
How do
Hmm.
I look like my problem?
Mm, yeah.
They don't used to
Alhamdulillah.
advise rich people. They don't used to advise rich people.
I
They
know.
don't
I
used to
know.
advise rich people. Because in my family house, my dad would say things like, "Ọ̀rọ̀ wo ló wà lẹ́nu aṣẹ́gita?" So it
Hmm.
means what talk does a poor person, so poor that he doesn't have he's selling firewood for sales.
Hmm.
He's so poor that he doesn't have farm, he doesn't have anything. He just goes to pick firewood to sell to make ends meet. So
Hmm.
that's like the poorest form
Hmm.
in their own olden days. So
Hmm.
like they don't used to advise rich people.
Hmm.
That's why. It's because you are doing, and if they are still frustrating you that you are rich, maybe you are not generous.
Hmm. Maybe. Hmm.
Just relax. May Allah do good for us.
Maybe.
I mean, it's not
Amen.
a lot of money that you need, though. You just need to be able to take care of yourself, do charity, and
Yeah.
just don't look like you are leaning on anybody.
Hmm.
And also avoid pity party.
Yeah.
Avoid, you know, every time, you people, avoid just that's why they are pressuring you. You
Yeah.
tell everywhere you go, you are easily telling your story. Hey, Shanu, me help me no. Hi.
Hmm.
No, you
Hmm.
don't look like it. Don't
Yeah.
look like it.
Hmm.
Yes, you will need one or two people to rant about it too.
Hmm.
Definitely. You
Yeah.
need to speak to somebody. But wallahi, the best person to speak your problem with is Allah.
Is Allah.
But
Hmm.
they say human beings will be human beings. That your best friend will say one thing to choke you with something you told her that was supposed to be in confidence. It will
Hmm.
pain you.
Yes.
I learned it.
Hmm.
There's so many part of my private life now that yes, I have close friends and I tell them here and there. But the best person to rant to is Allah. Wake up in Tajud and rant to Allah.
Hmm.
The more you are ranting to people, the more permission you are giving them to be giving you unwanted advice.
Yes. I agree.
I think that I've dropped two or three advice that will help you.
Yes. In fact, I don't even know if I should ask the last question. Like
Ask it.
what word of wisdom, which is what you've just dropped. So, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. So what message of hope or encouragement would you share with other Muslim women who are single and striving to live with faith, confidence, and joy while waiting for the right person?
Allah suffice those who trust Him.
Hmm.
Allah suffices. I mean, when Allah says that He will make a way for us, He will
Hmm.
make a way for the believers. The condition is to trust Allah.
Hmm.
Trust Allah. It is scary to not know what to do. But you know,
Hmm.
it's easier to just leave it to him.
Hmm. Hmm.
Trust Allah. One of my friends told me in 2016 and 2018, and that's what stopped me from desperately just trying to and deciding that, you know what, I'm going to go for whatever I want. If it doesn't come, then Allah will
Hmm.
do better. She looked at me and said that when she said, be specific in your prayer and ask Allah for what you want and be patient with it, I said, what if what I want is not good for me?
Hmm.
She looked at me and said, you think Allah will give you something that is not good for you?
Wow.
And that was deep for me. And that changed my prayer game. It changed my tower. It changed my faith in Allah.
Hmm.
Trust Allah. It is scary. One of the things that I say when I look at the calendar, I say, Talk. Allah is the owner of time. People can say, oh, your clock is ticking. Your king, but Allah is the owner of the clock.
Hmm.
He is the owner of the clock. He's the Lord who gave Abraham's wife a child in her 90s, or was it 80s? Yes, people can say that's holding days, but women in their 50s are still giving birth across the world. Some of them
Yes.
are even doing it naturally.
Hmm.
So one of the things you do is to identify what you are most afraid of and find Allah in that thing. So for me, it's always time. Time. Like, look at me. I'm going hold. Hey, which class will my children be when I'm in clinical? But then my mom had her last child. The child have gone to masters now. And the mother is still looking young. Whoa, my wow, right. My grandmother had her last child in her 50s.
Wow.
Um, and this woman started her menses late, and everybody can say, oh, time is going, time is going. She started her menses at 21, ended up having 9 children in her lifetime, died at 99.
Wow.
Everybody's timeline is different.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, there's an average one that everybody's saying. Somebody
Hmm.
said she's already seeing menopause clinic and she's in her mid-40s. And I was like, Temi Mati ba mi o. And then I remember that my mom started to do menopause at 60 years old. We are
Wow.
all different. Those people that they started their own in 40s, it may be that's their family line. I have a
Hmm.
family line of people who start menopause late, who has children into the 50s. That's what I am choosing to lean on.
Hmm.
And I'm
Hmm.
trusting Allah that that's my own. I
Hmm.
trust Allah in
Praise
that.
Allah.
People will come and tell you scary stories of like whether you don't internalize that's their own. Don't
Hmm.
let anybody project their fear into you. Trust Allah.
Hmm.
If Allah says that He will not give us in a lifetime, we trust Him
Hmm.
for choosing that for us. So when I say trust Allah with your dua, that it will come true, it will come to pass. But even if by His infinite wisdom, He
Hmm.
chooses to withhold this from us, trust Allah and
Yeah.
find solace in that trust that there is goodness in this for you. And
Hmm.
allow yourself to live life. Stop. What are you holding on for? You are waiting until it comes. What
Hmm.
if it never comes? It doesn't mean that you can't make something out of your life. In fact, let me tell you, when I started to trust Allah like this and change my mindset and stop living, that I started living in this joy and faith, I just sat down and I was like, what am I most afraid of? And I
Hmm.
started to dig it. I even thought that at that time, I didn't want to marry because of the man.
Hmm.
But it turned out that some of my trauma was not that I like men and I needed a husband or a relationship. In fact, I wanted to marry just for children's sake.
Hmm.
That's what I found after digging for so long. I realized that my biggest fear about not being married was that I won't have kids. And that's because, of course, I cannot have sex outside of marriage. If I were someone who can be a baby mama, all
Hmm.
of these things that we're talking about is not a trial.
Hmm.
So the scary part is that I'm not even going to. I was at that state in my 20s. I wouldn't have missed a man.
Hmm.
And the part of the healing that I had to do was so in all of these things, what is just about children. And it is, you can listen to this and say, maybe Muti. No, it's actually the average. I don't know about people anywhere else in the world, but Yoruba women are conditioned to love their children. And that conditioning, by the time I dig deep, I realize that conditioning, I don't want to do half of my faith because of husband. I've just been conditioned that that's the next thing to do. So many of us go into marriage without even going to want to love the man, or form a bond, a relationship that is just. So when the marriage is not working, like most people's marriages are not working, they'll say, "Shall be loving your children, stay there for the children."
Wow.
So that's what I realized I had internalized. I needed to heal that part. I needed to realize that I had an anxious attachment, and I didn't know how to truly be in a relationship with people or with a man. I didn't know, and I started to work on that, like become the lover girl and separate children from marriage, because I thought that was the biggest thing. So that may also be for a lot of people things you need to work on, but that's by the side. So I realized that my biggest fear for not getting married or getting married late was I may not have children. And then I asked myself, if I don't have children, what will happen? Who will bury me? And then I remembered one old woman that I more 20 people that strangers buried, and they did a better burial according to the sunnah than even their children would. I remember the women, a particular woman who all her children had become non-Muslims, and the mosque had to take charge. And I realized that whatever my children would become was out of my control. And then I looked at it. What's the good side of this? Is that on the day of judgment, there will not be any child pulling my clothes and saying it's my fault that they became nonsense. I was like, hey,
Wow.
being single is not so bad. Wow. Like, okay, there's an
That's
advantage.
deep.
So on the day of judgment, I will not account for them. I won't account for the things Allah doesn't give me.
Yeah.
I won't account for the things He doesn't give me. So at that time, that gave me solace. And I'm like, okay. So that's my worst fear, not having a child. But I realized that, but who will do Sadaqah Jariyah for me? And then the question is, and then I asked myself, is that the only way to achieve Sadaqah Jariyah? What about the goodness I can do in my own lifetime? The ones I can control. And you know what I started to do? That was when I started my journey towards becoming the Queen of Awesomeness. And what that is, that Queen of Awesomeness thing was giving value to the society back to back to back to back to back to earn. To become a valuable person myself. Like, okay, I don't have toddlers to run after. So it means that Allah has gifted me time. Time for what? Time for ibadah, time to show up, time to contribute, time to do things like this. So I realized that I tagged, and I said, if I wanted to write a book about this time of my life, it will be blessed with time. I was blessed with extra time, time to become a better person. And in the last 7 years, I have gotten time to redefine the way that I look at the world, redefine my Islam, redefine my relationship with Allah, redefine my relationship with people, redefine my contribution with people, my intention, my sincerity has gotten better. And I have gotten that time, and I see it as a blessing and not anything. So it all comes from trusting Allah, that everything the Quran and the Sunnah says about all of it is true. Some people say, the people that are telling you, do they not have children? But then I think of people like Imam Bukhari, he didn't marry.
Yeah.
And you hardly can you hardly can write any article about Islam without quoting him. After the Quran, Sahih Bukhari is the next thing.
Yes.
That is not valid.
Yes.
He never married, he never had children. But you know what? All of us are going to testify for him on the day of judgment.
On the day of judgment, yeah.
Imam Muslim, the same thing. And I'm like, maybe that's the people I would line up after. So what did they do with their life? What did they do with their lives? That's what you should be doing with your life. Trust Allah that Allah has gifted you this time to earn reward. You may not be earning reward through marriage. Ramadan will come and people will be doing, those of you that are not, so focus on the ways that you can earn reward and trust Allah to reward you. And just trust Allah. And wallahi, it will suffice you. And the best part of it is that when you are least expecting it, it will enter where, and you too. And together, me and you, we will enter our season of excel. This is our season of excelling, Bismillah.
Amen.
That's that.
Wow. It's been inspiring, uplifting. Alhamdulillah. I want to say a big thank you, Sister Mutiat Jazakallah khairan, for sharing this, your profound insights and the practical, wisdom with us today. I'm sure my wealth, my knowledge has doubled, alhamdulillah. And I'm sure that our audience have also gained one or two things from you. Your words have been, really thought-provoking. And I don't know what to say. I just want to say a big thank you for giving hope to other single sisters out there, for telling them, letting them know that it's normal to feel the way they feel. It's normal to cry. It's normal to have those days. But at the same time, we should not also dwell too much on it. Let's take all back to Allah and believe that He can do it, which you also share the absolute tawakkul and patience is the key. And also, you also mentioned there is absolutely nothing wrong in listening to people's advice, or to change things that you also feel you might need to change to get to that, stage in life. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. I ask Allah to continue to grant you that patience. In fact, not just patience, a beautiful patience. I ask Him to continue to give you the strength and the faith. And I ask Him to also crown your patience with unimaginable success on the day of Qiyamah. Amin Ya Rabbal Alameen. And to our beautiful listeners, I hope you found today's episode as inspiring as I did. Remember, being single is not what defines you, and it's not the end of life. It's just one thing, one trial. There are so many other things to be grateful for in life. So rather than dwell on one aspect of your life, think of the other mercies of Allah that you are enjoying, like living, breathing, having that financial freedom and all of that. And I just want to ask, if you love this episode, please do not forget to like, comment, and share it with someone who needs to hear this, someone who might benefit. And be sure to subscribe to the Guided Serenity Podcast. You can find us on Spotify, on Apple, and we are also on YouTube. Your support helps us bring more meaningful conversations like this to life. Thank you so much for listening and for being part of this journey today. Until next time, keep striving for serenity. Keep embodying faith, tawakkul, and always remember that every challenge is an opportunity for growth. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh.